And you just want like a 1 minute and everything like you did?
Yeah, that's fine. I also have my own timer, so
I was gonna say, I was watching the time too, so I was like, perfect. I'm glad I was. Makes me feel better somehow.
Hello.
Hi.
I keep being moved around.
Oh my, well, good. That's how it should be, but I know it can probably be a little confusing where you're supposed to be. All right. Give me just 1 second. Hide selfie. There we go. All right. Well, hi. If you're ready, Kate, I'll go ahead and start.
Yeah,
Great.
go ahead.
All right, wonderful. Well, hi, my name is Mariel Miller. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm a student physical therapist. And can I ask what your name is?
I'm Fran.
Fran, it's okay I address you by Fran?
You can.
That sounds great. Thanks, Fran. Well, why don't you tell me a little bit about why you're here at physical therapy today?
I've been referred to you because I've been having some lower back pain.
Okay. Do you want to tell me a little bit about how your back started hurting? Was it a specific event that caused it?
I think if I had to guess, and this is just a guess on my part, I've spent the last 20 years or so as a waitress, and I'm sure that carrying heavy trays of food or dishes around was not the best thing for my back.
Okay.
Since the COVID stuff happened, I am unemployed, like a lot of us, because our restaurants have closed. So I have spent the last 2 months taking care of my grandparents. My grandmother is pretty mobile, although she has probably the beginnings of dementia. She's not been evaluated, but that's a guess on the family's part. But my grandfather has Parkinson's and advanced dementia, and he's in hospice care. And so we know his time is limited. And I have been the primary caretaker and have been doing a lot of lifting, moving him from the bed to a wheelchair or to the toilet or wherever he needs to go. Mm-hmm. And I think I may have had a weak back to begin with, and this has certainly not helped, and it's gotten worse. And I'm one of the hospice nurses noticed that I was in pain, and so she suggested that maybe physical therapy might be a route to go.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad that you came in. It sounds like you've gone through a lot of physical as well as emotional stress.
It's been a crazy time.
With a pandemic on top of it all, I can imagine that you would be really stressed, again, physically and emotionally. And I know that your grandparents are lucky to have you help them out. But I want to make sure that you also feel like a priority, because I bet you it's really easy to feel like you're just the last one to be taken care of. So,
well, they took care of me when I was growing up, so I'm glad to give back. And I guess if I could say maybe a good thing that came out of the pandemic was that I lost my job, so now I have time to take care of them. I don't know, but it seemed to work out that way.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're in a place where you're ready to make changes to try and help make your back feel better.
I really think I just would like to be without pain. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, you came to the right place. So I wanted to ask you a little bit just kind of about your home life, and aside from your grandparents, what's your support system outside of just your grandma and grandpa?
I think it's pretty much the people that I worked with, mm-hmm. who are basically in the same situation I'm in and are doing whatever their family situation. Some of them have ended up being school teachers or technology experts for their kids, or in one case I know somebody that's taking care of somebody that does have COVID. So
Wow.
We all just kind of fitted into our family the way we needed to.
Yeah. And it sounds like you're probably spending a lot of time at home with COVID. Is your restaurant still, you said you're unemployed right now because did the restaurant shut down because of COVID? God, that's hard. It's hard to just be dealing with all of this and then be alone while you're doing it. So I understand. What about, have you sought any advice from other professionals, either mentally or physically?
Well, I have been seeing a counselor, actually pretty much weekly for depression and some previous sexual abuse. And, but when I lost my job, I lost my benefits. So I've been able to see her maybe once or twice when I've been able to scrape the money together to be able to get to see her. But other than that, not really. No, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, maybe after this session, what we could talk about are some resources that are local in Denver that could maybe help provide some opportunity for you to speak with someone about any of those issues that you feel like are weighing down on you, if that sounds good to you.
Yeah, I'll take any help at this point of the game. I don't have a lot of free time, but sometimes just chatting with somebody on the phone can be helpful.
Absolutely. So you've come to therapy because your back is hurting. Is that, what would you describe as your top priority in help getting that fixed? Are you looking just to remove the pain and increase functionality in your back?
I guess a little bit of both, in the sense of if I can get some functionality, maybe I won't have any pain. I mean, I don't know how you guys, prioritize those things, but I have a feeling that I'm probably not doing the lifting properly, and that may be one thing, and then just doing it wrong over and over and over again is probably not helped a lot.
Yeah, I understand. That can definitely lead to issues if you've been doing a movement a little bit weird for a few years. It can definitely add up over time. So what I think we could do in therapy is maybe review those movements that you have, and maybe incorporate them into your day-to-day life, even with your grandparents. So maybe we could find a way to get you moving and outside and like take your grandma on a walk. And so that way you could be spending time with them, but also increasing your blood flow and, helping your back feel better. How does that sound?
Well, yes, if I can find, it's one of those things of getting the babysitter, so to speak.
Okay.
Yes, and having someone if I take her out, then I have to know that someone's there with my grandfather. So it's been a lot of shuffling. And she's open to that, although she wants to stay with him a lot, which I can understand, but she just doesn't want, and then she doesn't quite understand what's going on, how bad he is. Some days she's clear, and then some days she's not really good.
Absolutely. Yes, I understand. Well, going forward with your grandparents, I think you've been doing a great job taking care of them, but we'll also keep in mind that it's important for you to, get out and live your life and see your friends too. You need that. You need to help yourself to be able to help your grandparents feel better too.
Yes, that's right.
All right. Well, like I said, going forward, I'd like to talk about any resources that might be helpful to you that are lower in cost or free. So we'll definitely wrap up and we can hand off some of those resources to you on the way out. All right.
Okay. That sounds good. Thank you.
You're so welcome, Fran. Thank you. Perfect. So that was our time, Fran. And I know you did this. Thank you for being my patient. And I know you probably did this in your last Zoom breakout room, but we'll just go through the care form and I'll just ask you the questions and I'll fill it out for you, okay?
Okay.
So I'll just read them off. You might have them in front of you too.
I do, and I can, I've been kind of getting to the point where you can almost put the first 4 or 5 of these together. because as artificial as this situation is, I mean, you'd never just have 8 minutes to deal with a new patient and do intake. So I thought you did a really good job of listening and getting at least the core information down in terms of the main points that you had to listen to my story about. Mm-hmm. And I tried not to give you too much detail because the scenario they gave me had every kind of thing
that
wrong.
Was enough for therapy for a few years, all of
That's
that.
right. So I thought if I just took a few things, it would be easier on you. And I would assume my experience with PT is the more sessions you have with a patient, the more you learn about them anyhow, because you get the details about what was your waitressing job like or that kind of stuff. And so
absolutely,
I wasn't really worried about you getting the whole thing. So I thought you did a good job of listening to those main points and pulling on them so that you could do a plan of action at the end. And that you know, so listening to the key words that I was trying to present to you, you caught them, and I think you were ready to get me some help one way or the other.
Good. That was one thing I was working on from the last time I did this, was developing a plan of action. So I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I felt like I did that decently enough. So I appreciate that. So I feel like I kind of grouped, like you said, those first 4 questions is very good. Do you feel like I fully understood your concerns?
Yeah, because you came right out and said to me, what's your primary need? And most people would tell you, get rid of the pain.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that from having back problems, that you just want to have a pain-free day. Okay. So the whole piece of trying to teach somebody how to do the lifting correctly certainly would alleviate at least a lot of the pain, and then teach them how to strengthen those muscles or whatever, you know.
Absolutely. Showing care and compassion.
Oh, definitely. No problem. You've got that down.
Did you feel like I was positive in my approach and my attitude?
Yes, because there's a lot of this here that you could always pick at, isn't that awful, or you never should have been doing that, or that's terrible that you lost your job, rather than seeing the positive spin on it that you have to do in order to stay sane in some way.
Absolutely. Did I explain things clearly?
Yeah, I don't think we got into anything that was technical that really required a lot of
definitions. I agree. Yeah, this is more the emotional side of
right,
for sure. The last 2 questions. The second one, helping you take control. So did I explore some things with you that you could do to improve your health on your own?
I think that's a real important thing, because when a person's in a situation like this, they feel like the situation is taking control.
Yeah.
And the more you can turn that around and say, you're making this choice to take care of your grandparents, and be positive about it and all that kind of stuff, as opposed to, oh, poor you, you know, that kind of thing. And seeing that by making the choice, they have taken control.
Yes.
You know, there's that piece that sometimes people don't realize. They've made a choice. Now you live with it, kind of thing. But it is their way to take control.
Absolutely. That's good advice. I'll remember that, Fran. And then the last question, making a plan of action. So did we discuss any options that involved, you know, progressing forward, and I didn't ignore any opinions that you had?
Well, I think that at the end there, where you were saying there are resources for you. I mean, a lot of people that are in these situations right now are realizing that by having lost their benefits, they think, oh my gosh, I can't do anything anymore. I can't see the counselor that I really need to talk to. But to be able to say to them, well, there are free resources out there, or there are, you know, low cost ones, or there's a support phone line that you can call to talk to somebody. I I think a lot of the folks that are out of work now, and some of them that are facing evictions and all that, just don't know where to go
Mhm.
to get those helps. So I think when you feel like you're, I don't know, when I was a teacher, when I did this, I felt like I was a social worker, and
Mm.
that really wasn't my job, but it really is your job in a sense. If you know of support systems within the community you could offer to a patient,
Yeah.
you can offer, and then again, it's their choice. That's another piece where they can have control whether or not they choose to take advantage of that.
Absolutely.
But at least you've given it what information you have.
Absolutely.
You don't have to go out and be the social worker for them, because that's not your job. And that's a kind of a
It's a
funny
fine line.
line.
But it's
Yeah,
always good to point them in the right direction if you can. I agree.
that's right.
Well, Fran just had all the best advice. So sorry, Kate.
That's okay. I can make it quick because you did amazing.
Thank you.
I think you started out really calm and relaxed, so that makes the patient feel at ease.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that at one point she was talking about something, and she said you just reaffirmed with her, like, that's hard, that sucks. And I think that's awesome to make the patient feel validated. And the only thing that was on this form that I don't think we've had a patient in this phase before was it had patient assessed or PT assess the strength of commitment. And I was like, that's a hard thing to like judge. I think you definitely did it by like just being in conversation and like talking about how much she wanted to change. But other than that, I was like, I don't know how else you would do that. So I think you did it well.
I tried to be like, so it sounds like you're really ready to like commit to therapy or something like that. So absolutely.
I think that's pretty good.
Thank you.
Good job. Hi, Marlene.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? I think you've got Mara.
Yep. Awesome. Oh, and Mariel, if you wouldn't mind recording.
I am already recording, so.
Oh, I see. Perfect. Thanks so much.
Gotcha.
Okay. Sorry. I just want to make sure I have everything. Okay. Cool. Okay. Well, whenever you're ready, Marlene, just let me know. We can get started.
I'm ready, except I have you small and me big. How come that is? It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Marlene. I'm Mara. I am going to be your student physical therapist today, and my pronouns are she and her. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. So tell me a little bit about what brings you in today.
Well, my doctor seems to think that maybe you can help me with my balance, and I've been falling a lot, and it's been probably the last 6 months I've done 5 falls, and one of them was pretty serious. I hurt my hip, and it actually fractured my hip, but I'm healed now, and he seemed to think that if I saw somebody that maybe you could make me a little stronger. He kind of told me that this might be wasting your time and my time because I'm older and I should expect to fall because old people fall a lot. But he knows that I live alone, and so he thought maybe you could help a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. I wonder if you think I can help, because your doctor didn't sound very confident, but how are you feeling about this?
I'm not really sure. He didn't seem very encouraging, so I don't know. We could try. I do live by myself, and it is scary to fall down and not have anybody there to help you. So
right.
I'm willing to try to change my life a little bit so that it would be a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, and I can definitely understand that living by yourself and being afraid to fall that's really scary. So I'm happy that you're here, though. I congratulate you on making the effort because I do think that there are things that we can do definitely to help you with balance. And so you mentioned that you live alone. Is it easy for you to get around now with your hip, like to get to appointments, or are you having trouble there?
Well, I don't drive, so whenever I have to go anywhere, I have to call my son, and he lives 45 minutes away, so it's really hard. And so I try not to call him. So hopefully, if we do this, we could maybe do it somehow that I wouldn't have to call him.
Sure. Yes. And I can understand that that just adds another layer of complication to going to therapy. But potentially, we could do something like this where we're doing telehealth or maybe home health. Do either of those sound like good options?
Yes, that would be good.
Okay, perfect. And so let me just ask you a little bit more about, have you seen any other providers for falling in the past?
No,
Okay. All right. So we're starting fresh.
yeah.
And have you done other treatment outside of seeing a healthcare professional for falling?
No.
Okay. Well, like I said, I think we can really improve on your balance by, working on strength, as your doctor mentioned, and there's, some exercises we can definitely incorporate that I think will be helpful. And now I can't help but notice, Marlene, that you have some bruises on your arms. Do you remember how those happened?
Well, it was one day that my son was here, and he he grabbed me because I was tripping and falling, and so that's what happened.
Okay. Um, and do you feel like you're safe when you're with your son?
My son and I have had a bad relationship for many, many years, and I know he really doesn't want to be around too much, and so the least I have to um, call him and ask him for anything, it's probably better for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can understand why you would maybe be hesitant to call him. So I have to let you know that I am a mandatory reporter, and I'm a little bit concerned just about the placement of the bruises and the shape of them. It really looks like he grabbed you pretty hard, and so I just wanted to let you know that because of my role in this position, I would need to report, especially if you felt like you were unsafe with your son. And or how do you feel about that? Are you okay with that?
I don't want my son to get into any trouble, and I think um, I think that you know he he maybe grabbed me too hard because he does have issues with me for sure. He doesn't agree with my lifestyle, and um, so I don't think that he was trying to hurt me. I really think he was trying to grab me so I didn't fall. I think I'm okay with just leaving it with that.
Okay. Well, if you're comfortable, Marlene, would you mind telling me a little bit more about maybe the relationship that you have? Maybe we can just can talk about that a little bit more. The
Well,
relationship with your son, sorry.
he he uh he just I'm gay, and I've had a life partner, and he just very angry about that. I divorced his father many, many years ago, and he just never got over it. So I try to just be by myself, really.
Mm-hmm.
My partner passed away last year, and so it's been really hard.
Yeah, that sounds really difficult, Marlene. Losing someone that close to you is really difficult. Well, I do want to let you know that this is a safe place for you, and you don't have to worry about, any any issues with, you know, sexuality or your gender identity here. You're very safe here. I wondered also if you have sought any maybe counseling or talked to any other people about losing your partner and dealing with your grief.
No, I haven't.
And is that because can you tell me a little bit about how you're dealing with that?
I just go day to day. I'm really not dealing with it very well. I'm sad a lot of the time.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure that sounds like a situation that would make you sad all the time. Well, if you're interested, I could offer some resources to help you kind of get through this, the loss of your partner. And, you know, maybe we can find a group for you to talk to, or a one-on-one counselor who might be able to help you, because it is really difficult. And after that, we can also set up some appointments about working on your balance so that you can feel more confident at home. Does that sound good to you?
It does. It sounds good, but I don't drive, so I can't really get anywhere.
Sure. Right. Well, hopefully we can, you know, do some telehealth or maybe home health so that you can just stay in your home. I think that would be easier for you.
That would be really nice.
Great. All right. So we are at time.
Okay.
Okay. Whew. That's a doozy. Thank you so much for being my patient, Marlene.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a crazy one, isn't it?
It's a lot. Yeah. A lot to talk about in 8 minutes. All
Oh,
right.
yes, it is. Yes, it is. So I have the little form that we have to fill out in front of me.
Awesome.
So I can go through it if you want me to.
That would be great. Yes.
Okay. Making me feel at ease. Yes, you made me feel very at ease. I would say excellent at that.
Thank you.
Letting me tell my story. Yes, you let me talk a lot, and you never interrupted me, and you pulled things out of me. Really listened. You listened very well. Excellent. It seemed like you kind of knew what I was saying without me really even saying it. So I'd say that was excellent. Being interested in me as a whole person. You were very interested in all the aspects that we talked about, and you didn't really focus on just one thing. So yes, you did very well with that. So I would say excellent. Fully understanding my concerns. I would say excellent at that also. It concerned me that you were going to tell on my son, but besides that, you did well. Showing care and compassion, excellent. Being positive. You were very positive about me getting better, that you told me you could help with a lot of things, not just the stumbling and falling, but actually being more independent. So I would say excellent.
Great.
Explaining things clearly, excellent. Helping me take control, excellent. I felt like getting somebody to talk to for a lot of things would be the way to go. Plan of action, is that where we are?
Yes.
Okay. You had a very good plan of action for me. I felt like you went kind of down the different steps and hit everything that was concerning and things that were keeping me down, and you were lifting me up. So very good. Very good. You did great.
Thank you. Is there anything else, like anything I'm trying to think about, like the reporting the sun part? I'm not sure if they like gave you more information about that, because that's such a touchy thing, and I wonder how you feel that went.
You know, that would be the one thing that I would say would maybe not make me feel like I could open up to you, because
Yeah.
the minute you said that, I would think, okay, I can't really tell my whole story because she's going to tell someone else.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's how you have to do it. But it does make me a little bit less trustworthy, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. I sensed that and figured that was that might be the case, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's something to definitely keep working on for sure.
You did great. You really did. So you have a good afternoon, and
Yeah,
it looks
thank you
like
so
they're
much.
going to put me away soon. So,
All right. Yep, to the next room. All right.
okay.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Keith.
I didn't have you done
Oh, okay. So, good job, Mara.
Thanks.
Let me see. Hold on. Zoom is being
Maybe you guys can just go and
weird and covering up all my stuff. Okay, so I felt like you did, yeah, Marlene kind of said this, but you did a really good job of bringing out information from her without feeling like, I didn't feel like you were probing her or invaded her privacy. So I felt like that was done really, really well. And then my second point of feedback was that just in general, you did a really good job of kind of just letting her speak and letting her tell her story. I didn't feel like you were talking over at any point.
Thanks. And I'm not sure if we should be getting on to yours now, or I don't know if you have thoughts about like the reporting the sun thing. That was really difficult, and then I kind of was just like, ah.
I think you did a good job. Like it felt like it came out of a place of concern and not so much like, I'm going to report you. Like,
Yeah.
It definitely felt like you were kind of just doing your job and like kind of making sure that she was safe.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm ready whenever you are. I will give you time updates.
Okay.